Hello students, this is Barkha Gaur from Shiv Jyoti Educational Group Kota. Today students, we are going to revise chapter 6 of class 10th science, and the name of the chapter is life processes. Already we have learned this chapter in detail. Today we will be discussing the important points, children. As you know, this chapter contains 4 important topics. The 4 important topics related to life processes are nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. So, one by one we will understand all the topics. So, let us begin with the what are life processes. So, children, the processes required for maintenance of the body, the living organisms perform different life processes. So, first process we are going to learn about is nutrition. So, what is nutrition? Nutrition is basically the process of obtaining food and utilizing it. Okay. So, there are basically 2 modes of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is shown by the green plants. When we talk about green plants, the green plants are able to prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, photosynthesis is the process by which green plants can prepare their own food, and the raw materials required for it is carbon dioxide, water, sunlight and chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present in the leaves. Okay. Then heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition mainly it is of different types like saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic nutrition. So, when we talk about like holozoic nutrition, the food is taken directly into the mouth and then it is digested inside the body. Saprophytic means the organisms digest the food outside the body and then intake. And parasitic means we know, children, that the organisms obtain their nutrition from the other living organisms. And saprophytic from dead and decaying organic matter. So, heterotrophic nutrition mein basically there are 2 topics, nutrition in amoeba. The process of taking food by amoeba is endocytosis, or we can say it forms pseudopodia and takes the food inside the food vacuole, there it is digested. So, children, the diagram is also important, it is on page number 6.5. Okay, so nutrition in amoeba and then nutrition in human beings. So, before we proceed, one more thing, that there is a diagram on page number 76, figure 6.1, the cross section of leaf. So, you should know to draw this diagram also, and there are basic 3 events which takes place in photosynthesis, like absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll, then conversion of light energy into chemical energy, splitting of water molecule into into hydrogen and oxygen, and then conversion reduction of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. Okay. Then if you see on page number 97, there is a diagram, figure 6.3 of stomata. तो stomata का diagram भी आपको prepare करना है बच्चों. Stomata में you should know the important function of stomata. One is exchange of gases and another is transpiration. So, stomata are responsible for these 2 functions. Now, let us understand about the digestion in human beings. So, when we talk about digestion in human beings, we can see, children, that digestion can be divided, the process of digestion takes place with the help of 2 things. One is alimentary canal and accessory glands or digestive glands, we can say digestive glands. Alimentary canal में mouth, esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, then large intestine, and last anus. So, the process of digestion begins in the mouth with the help of teeth and tongue and salivary glands. Salivary glands secrete saliva which has salivary amylase which help in the digestion of starch. Esophagus performs the peristaltic movement to pass the food into the stomach. Stomach has gastric glands from which gastric juices are secreted. So, gastric juice contain 3 substances, HCl, pepsin and mucus. Children, it is very important to know the function of these 3 things. HCl provide the acidic medium for the action of pepsin. Pepsin helps in the digestion of protein and mucus protects the wall of stomach. Small intestine में the remaining digestion takes place in the small intestine with the help of the different juices. जैसे liver से bile juice secrete होगा which provide the alkaline medium and helps in the emulsification of fat. Similarly, pancreas secrete pancreatic juice which produce trypsin enzyme for the digestion of protein and lipase. Lipase enzyme is also secreted. Okay. Then the rest of the digestion takes place in the small intestine and all the complex food materials are converted into simpler food materials. Then absorption also takes place in the small intestines with the help of villi. And large intestine mainly absorbs water and the undigested food is removed through the anus. So, children, this was about the digestive system in human beings. Now, let us start the next topic, respiration. So, children, when we talk about respiration, what happens in the respiration? The digested food is oxidized inside the cell. The process of breakdown or the process of oxidation of food to provide energy is what? Respiration. So, with the help of oxygen, when the oxygen is also going inside and the food is digested and absorbed, it goes into the cell, there oxidation of food takes place which gives energy. So, that is what? Respiration. Now, breakdown of glucose by various pathways की हम बात करते हैं. So, there are various pathways by which glucose can be broken down. Let us understand these 3 processes या 3 pathways हम देखते हैं. It is given in your book page number 102. So, when we talk about glucose, glucose can be oxidized in different 3 ways. ठीक है. तो first of all, साइटोप्लाज्म में ग्लाइकोलाइसिस का प्रोसेस होता है. तो ग्लूकोज इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू पायरुवेट बाय दिस प्रोसेस व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एज ग्लाइकोलाइसिस. देन पायरुवेट हैज 3 फेट्स. इसके 3 फेट्स हो सकते हैं. वन इज एब्सेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन की अगर बात करें, एब्सेंस ऑफ O2 में इनसाइड द यीस्ट, हम यीस्ट सेल की बात कर रहे हैं. यीस्ट सेल में पायरुवेट का कन्वर्शन होता है इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ O2 इनटू एंड इट मेक्स इथेनॉल, CO2 and a small amount of energy. Okay. Second pathway we can see, it is also taking place in the lack of oxygen. It takes place in muscle cells and lactic acid is formed. Then the third, in the presence of oxygen, which takes place in mitochondria. ठीक है, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, और इसी को हम कहते हैं एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन. In mitochondria, the pyruvate is converted into carbon dioxide, water, and a large amount of energy is formed. A large amount of energy is formed. So, these were the 3 fates of pyruvate acid, pyruvic acid or pyruvate. So, children, there are different organisms in which respiration takes place. Some are aquatic and some are terrestrial. So, gills are present for the respiration of aquatic organisms, and terrestrial organisms do the respiration with the help of lungs. Now, we will understand about the human respiratory system. Human respiratory system. You can refer to the diagram given on page number 104, figure 6.9. So human respiratory system में we will start with the nose. ठीक है, nose में air will enter into it. The nasal tract है which has nasal hair, ठीक है, which trap the dust and any foreign particles. Then it goes into the pharynx, which is the common passage for food and the wind. Then it enters into the trachea. Trachea is a tube-like structure which has the ring, cartilaginous rings. Cartilaginous rings are present which prevent the collapse of trachea. Then it divides into bronchi. ये bronchi में divide हो जाते हैं. Then bronchi subdivides into bronchioles. It is bronchioles. Then bronchioles are terminating into sac-like structures which are called alveoli. Alveoli. Okay, so these are the structures of respiratory system. So air moves through this passage, and these are the lungs. So it is all about respiratory system in human beings. Now there is a respiratory pigment which is known as hemoglobin, which helps to carry oxygen throughout the body. Third हमारा important topic है बच्चों, transportation. Transportation means the movement of substances within the body from one organ to another. जैसे हमने कहा ऑक्सीजन एब्जॉर्ब हुई है ना, ऑक्सीजन इज एब्जॉर्ब थ्रू द एल्वियोलाई और इट इज डिफ्यूज्ड थ्रू द एल्वियोलाई. Similarly, food is absorbed from the intestine, from the villi. Then blood vessels are there to carry these oxygen and food to different parts of the body. So blood is the medium through which the substances are transported, and transportation is the process which helps in the movement of substances within the body. So children, mainly the transportation system, or we can call it as circulatory system, it has different parts like blood, heart and blood vessels. Okay, so we will just talk first about blood. Blood has different components like plasma and blood cells. So when we talk about plasma, it is the liquid part of the blood, and blood has different types of cells like RBC, WBC and platelets. So they have also different roles in the body. Then we talk about the heart. तो heart की बात करें कि how does blood circulates in the heart. So children, refer to the diagram page 106. This is the internal, first diagram is of internal structure of heart, which is showing the flow of blood also. So I'll with the help of a flow chart, I'll make you understand how does blood flows into the heart. So let us understand about its parts, जो और heart के parts हैं और उसमें किस तरह से blood flow होता है. So heart, you know, mainly contain the mammalian heart contains 4 chambers, 2 atria and lower 2 ventricles. So suppose we start from the right atria. ठीक है? Suppose the in the right atria blood is coming from the body, then it goes into the right ventricle. From right ventricle it goes into lungs through pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery takes the, और ये blood कैसा होगा, CO2 rich blood. ठीक है, CO2 rich blood is carried to the lungs for purification. Then from lungs it comes into the left atria. Now this is O2 rich blood. Atria में आता है, from atria it goes into the left ventricle, and from left ventricle through aorta. The blood is sent to different body parts. Okay, then from body parts it again go to right atria, and body parts से जब right atria में जाएगा तो vena cava है ना, vena cava. There are different vena cavas, inferior and superior vena cava. They carry blood into the right atria. So this is the general idea कि how does blood flows in the heart. Another topic which is important is the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen into the blood through the heart. So when we see about mammalian heart या birds और mammalian के heart जो है, they are well separated by the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood is well separated by the septa children. So this helps in the production of more energy because a sufficient supply of oxygen is provided there. So it helps to provide energy which is required by the organisms. Now there are different blood vessels present in our body. Blood vessels की बात करें तो blood vessels में like arteries, veins and capillaries are there. Arteries, veins and capillaries. They carry blood, arteries carry oxygenated blood and veins carry deoxygenated blood, and they meet in the capillaries. Capillaries में आकर ये एक दूसरे से मिल जाती हैं and the exchange of material take place here. So on page number 107 you can see the various differences between arteries, veins and veins. So they help in the circulation or movement of blood into the body. तो RBC, WBC और platelets की बात की थी अभी हमने. तो RBC helps in the मतलब it contains hemoglobin, it provides red color to the blood. WBC helps in protection from diseases, defense का काम करते हैं, and platelets help in the clotting of blood. There is another another liquid present in the body which is called as lymph. So lymph is also like blood, but just it does not contain RBC, but it is formed when the blood is flowing through the capillaries. It squeezes from it, but it does not contain RBC. So it also helps in the protection from diseases, disease causing organism. Transportation in plants की हम बात करते हैं तो there are mainly two methods or two organs in the body of plant, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in the transportation of water and phloem helps in the transportation of food. ठीक है, तो xylem में water and minerals are transported xylem से, and phloem helps in the transportation of food. Now we will talk about the next topic, that is excretion. Excretion is the process by which in our body various harmful substances are also formed. So when the harmful substances are accumulated in the body, they can harm us. So it is required to be removed. So excretion is the process with the help of which we can remove the waste material of the body. Now we will talk about excretion in human beings. So excretion in human beings contain various parts. Those parts are like a pair of kidney is there. You can refer to the diagram on page number 110, figure 6.13. This figure. So a pair of kidney is there. Through this renal vein and renal artery are coming, and these are the ureter, kidney. Then they unite in a bag like structure which is called urinary bladder. Then it leads to the urethra. So various functions of different parts of the excretory system हम देख सकते हैं. Kidney filters the blood and forms urine. Then the waste which is formed removed through the kidney, it passes through the ureters, then it is temporarily stored in the urinary bladder, and then it is removed through the urethra. Now we will talk about the main functional unit of kidney, that is nephron. तो nephron का structure समझ लेते हैं बच्चों. Nephron is actually the functional unit of kidney. You should know the diagram also. There is a cup-like structure, and it is called as Bowman's capsule. Then there is a tuft of capillaries which is known as glomerulus. You can refer to the diagram given on page number 111, 6.14. So, this complete forms the Bowman's capsule, and renal vein and renal artery are also coming here. This is renal artery. Now, this is leading to the एक डक्ट में कन्वर्ट हो जाती है ये ट्यूब, एंड द फिल्ट्रेट जो है वो इसमें पास होकर देन इट इज सेंट टू द कलेक्टिंग ट्यूब. तो दिस इज कलेक्टिंग डक्ट. The filtrate, that means when the impure blood is coming in the glomerulus, it is filtered and the filtrate passes through this convoluted tubule कहते हैं इसको. So, this is a Henle's loop, and here you can see this renal artery is surrounding this Henle's loop. Here क्या होता है ना, mainly many important substances are also removed from this part of the excretory system, but it is required to be reabsorbed. So, much amount of water and useful substances are reabsorbed from here, and the final waste जो है वो it is removed, it is sent through the collecting duct, and from the collecting duct it comes into the, इस diagram को अगर देखें तो it comes into the ureter, and then it is stored in the urinary bladder, then it is removed through the urethra. तो बच्चों, this was about excretion, and the last topic is excretion in plants. तो excretion in plants, as you can see by the process of photosynthesis, जब हम बात करते हैं, suppose photosynthesis की बात करते हैं, तो photosynthesis में oxygen is the waste product, similarly respiration में carbon dioxide is the waste product, but some plants also secrete some other waste like gums, latex also from their body, and extra water is also removed from the plants by the process of transpiration. So, children, these were the important points of this chapter, life processes. I hope you understood properly. So, go through it. Take care. Goodbye.